The Nike Phantom Vision 2 Academy can be summed up by one word, mesh, which is actually an acronym for Mesh Everywhere Shoe Has. My name is Yoda, and here's my review. $275 for the Phantom Vision 2 Elite is a lot of money. They're good, but they're also expensive. Below that, you have the Pro model, which retails for $150, an okay pair of boots, but honestly not really worth $150 if you ask me. Which brings us to the Academy tier option, the Nike Phantom Vision 2 Academy, bearing a much more affordable retail price of $80, as well as a couple different features that are exclusive to this particular boot that you won't find on any of the higher end models. And I'm gonna make a pretty bold statement here, but I would rather wear the Academy version than I would the Pro. Not the Elite though, that's way better. But why is the Academy better than the Pro? Well, that's exactly the question that I'm gonna answer for you in today's video. We're gonna go over all the details of this boot, including how they fit and feel on feet. So if you wanna learn everything there is to know, please stick around, watch the entire review. And if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That's gonna take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes to pick these up below their normal $80 retail price. For those that wanna know, all that's included with the boots is an orange Nike box, no string bag, that's only for the top end model, which is totally worth the extra $195. As for the boots themselves, you can pretty clearly see that the entire upper is made out of mesh, which is not unlike most takedown models at this price point, but this one in particular is extra meshy. I know sometimes it sounds like I script these videos, but I promise you I don't. Not unlike the original Phantom Vision Academy, the upper is referred to in the tech specs as Nike Skin. You can see the logo right there, which of course is a material made famous by the original Nike Hypervenom Phantom 1, a top-end model, something that had a very different upper from what this boot has. Basically, all Nike Skin really is a top layer of polyurethane, aka super thin plastic, that covers up the mesh base layer. The mesh on the underside is really what made the Hypervenom Phantom 1 feel the way that it did. This, like I said, does feel different, but is still super soft and flexible. You can see it's a very simple pattern of mesh, and you don't have any of the added texturing on the surface like you'll find on the Elite or Pro tier options, which honestly isn't that big of a deal. The touch is very soft because of how soft this mesh is. It does have a little bit of a padded sensation to it because there are two layers, something I'll talk about in just a second. And I guess there is a little bit less grip in comparison to the more expensive options, but as a whole, for 80 bucks, I would say the touch is pretty darn good. The mesh base flows seamlessly across the top of the foot, where you'll find that some of that mesh has been left exposed for the lace cover area, which you want it to have a little bit of extra stretch and flexibility, which it does when it's just straight up mesh. That mesh covers up what they call a ghost laces system, which is basically just regular laces underneath the lace cover. You can't see them, therefore they are ghosts. That's Nike technology for you. Either way, it still has a lacing system. This is not a laceless boot. I would not recommend wearing it as a laceless boot. And that lacing system is attached to basically an internal sock, which you can see kind of peeking out the edges right here around the heel area, where they have lowered the collar, and they've changed up the material in comparison to the original Vision Academy as well. This being this thin elasticated material that feels quite premium and doesn't add any extra bulk, or seems to add no bulk, which I think is one of the major noticeable differences in comparison to the previous generation. This just feels like there are less layers in between your foot and the ball, and the boot just does not have a bulky sensation to it. Very, very comfortable, in fact, and also nice and flexible, which is what I would expect from an upper that looks like straight up mesh, and that's exactly what it feels like. Tie the laces tight, and the lockdown is pretty good. It is not a quad fit system like you'll find on the top end model. Totally different material, totally different lockdown characteristics, but still decent lockdown as a whole. And then, like I said, it does have this kind of low cut collar with the added pull tab, something that's new for the Phantom Vision 2 generation. Really like that. Makes putting the boots on a little bit easier. And again, the lower cut collar I think is visually a little bit better. It's still kind of unnecessary, but it doesn't get in the way, and it's not something that you notice while wearing the boots. At the very back, you'll find an internal plastic heel counter, so nice solid structure back there. Internally, the heel liner is a padded mesh material, which I'm personally not crazy about. I would have liked to have seen some kind of synthetic leather, just because I've never been crazy about how this mesh material wears, but it is very comfortable, I will say that, and heel lockdown does not seem to be an issue. Then the insole is kind of partially glued in, but it is still removable. Oh, it's actually really glued in. I made an executive decision to not pull it any harder because I'm worried about actually ripping it, but you can see it is a standard mesh liner on the surface, and it's made from a single layer of this gray foam. Which brings us to the Soleplate and stud pattern, something that is exclusive to the Academy tier option, featuring their multi-ground stud pattern, which is very similar to what you'll find on the Academy tier Mercurials, and basically a stud pattern that, as the name would suggest, can be used on multiple playing surfaces, those surfaces being natural grass, firm ground, as well as artificial grass, AG. With the design and layout of the stud pattern definitely being more similar to Nike's AG Pro layouts, which, as I've said many times on this channel before, while it is technically designed for use on artificial grass, can also be used on natural grass. Neymar, very popular guy, you probably heard of him, he actually wears an AG Pro stud pattern, but obviously plays on natural grass. And as far as performance goes, it's actually pretty good. On natural grass, you have kind of a modernized traditional layout with some bladed studs in the mix, providing more aggressive traction than you might expect. But for use on artificial grass, because of the mostly conical stud layout, the stud pattern doesn't feel overly clingy, which is great for performance and also a little bit safer for your knees, ankles, and hips. And I also want to mention that the Soleplate itself actually looks pretty premium for an $80 takedown and actually feels not too far off the top end version. So all in all, it's a really solid layout for the Soleplate and stud pattern. In terms of weight, the Academy feels pretty similar to the Elite, which is obviously a lot more expensive. In a size 9.5 US, the Phantom Vision 2 Academy weighs in at 8.35 ounces, the equivalent of 237 grams, which is roughly 0.3 ounces more than the Elite model, which is honestly a very small weight difference that you're probably not gonna notice. Now, you're probably expecting me to have swapped out the laces, but I have not done that because one, the laces are covered by this lace cover, and two, it is very difficult to actually change the laces. Possible, but very difficult, so I haven't done it. Now, as far as putting these on is concerned, it's pretty straightforward. The fact that they have added this pull tab here at the front does help a lot. You use your index finger, hold it open with your thumb. I'm actually going to swap that around. I have used the wrong finger. Slide my foot in sideways and then just kind of pull it in like that. With this pull tab, you kind of pull in all of that internal structure just so it's nice and flat. And then from there, you kind of leave the two lace ends open, pull them tight. That tightens pretty much the entire lacing system, which is relatively shallow. Then from there, you can kind of fold this top part of the lace cover down, tie your laces as normal, and you're pretty much good to go. On feet, the boots feel really good, and there's really no reason why they shouldn't, given that it's a thin mesh-based synthetic material, soft, flexible, moves with your foot really nicely. But in fact, these feel a lot better, in my opinion, than the almost double the price Pro variation, which has, for some reason, an unnecessarily stiff feel about them, especially out of the box. It gets better after some wear time, but honestly, I just prefer the feel of the upper on the Academy. And also, in comparison to the original Academy, I feel like the materials this time around feel that little bit more premium, and everything seems to wrap the top of your foot a little bit more closely because of that lace cover design. It almost seems like there was just too much extra material in the previous generation. That is no longer an issue with this new model. It feels very, I would say, more so refined than what we had before. As far as fit is concerned, they fit really comfortably and have a little bit of a tighter fit in comparison to that top end Elite model, but still I think a boot that will be suitable for most foot types in regards to overall width. Not super wide, but definitely not super narrow either. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you're looking to order some for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, this is one of those rare occasions where I have very little negative to say about a cheaper takedown model. I guess if I'm really nitpicking, I don't love the heel liner and I think the insole is maybe a little bit cheap, but everything else about this boot is above average in terms of overall quality in comparison to other football boots at this price point. And honestly, it's just a decent pair of football boots, period. I would say that if you're on a budget, this is definitely one of the best options out there at the $80 price point. I think out of all the synthetic options from Nike at the Academy tier, this is actually my favorite as well, both in terms of quality of touch as well as overall comfort. And I like the fact that it has a multi-ground stud pattern. Honestly, I wish they would offer something like this on the top end model. What I will also say is a lot of you guys always message me saying that I have my FG boots and I play mostly on natural grass, but I play like 10 to 12 games on artificial grass, but don't want to spend the money on an AG football boot. Don't spend the money on a top end model. Go and buy something like this with its multi-ground stud pattern. It's actually a decent pair of boots. They're gonna perform on artificial grass, and they're also not gonna break the bank. Takedown models aren't supposed to be the best quality. They're supposed to be the best value for money. And for once, I actually feel like you're getting that. Anyways, guys, that's it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in some of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That's going to take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes to pick these up below their normal $80 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.